Bob,
We're on.
yeah, can you give us an overview of your business?
Okay, I am a small family business in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. So we do traditional real estate. I've got a small office with 6 agents underneath me and my father, and then my mom works in the office as well. And then we do, right now, like 20, 25 fix and flips a year, as well as about 100 transactions traditionally. And we run from the top of Cincinnati all the way down into Kentucky. And that's kind of us. We got a few rentals and looking to grow that, but for the most part, we're your traditional family real estate business.
Got it.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
But
so is there a reason I noticed you did traditional agent work and also fix and flips? Which came first and why do you do
traditional
both?
side? So my father's an agent as well. He has been a realtor since '84, so 40 years. He's on year 41 now. And I said growing up that I'd never do it. That's not a life for me. I was going to own businesses and do something else. And so I got licensed at 19 and been doing it ever since. And then I'm a 3rd generation auctioneer. And
oh, really?
Yeah. 3rd generation auctioneer, 2nd generation realtor. So doing the talk fast,
Does it help to auction things while being a realtor?
It depends on the market. So we did for a lot of years. It started off, so my grandfather was a horse trader and did the auction business, and he sold everything from cattle to horses, bridles and saddles and you name it. Mm-hmm. And then my dad went to houses instead of horses, so we started off doing just farm auctions, selling farm equipment, selling pots and pans, and then we migrated in through the recession of doing real estate auctions and busting up farms and multi-part auctions and stuff like that. And that got us through the recession. And so at least my father did. I was just middle of high school, so I really didn't know what was going on, but I was there to help and run all the computers.
Right.
So that's that part kind of influenced a lot of the investing side because it showed us different ways to do deals and different ways to make money in the real estate world other than just making a commission. But it wasn't. I tried to make it a full-time business. It just wasn't the right one for me. So we joined a mastermind group, kind of like a marketing mastermind group, kind of like CG. And we did that for a number of years, and we thought we were going to compete with some of the big dogs in the pots and pans business.
Oh, really?
Everything but the house and people like that. We thought we were going to go compete with them and take a good chunk of business. They started in the Cincinnati area, and we thought I had some friends who helped them get started and whatever, and we thought we were going to compete with that. And it quickly became a game of a whole lot of labor and not a lot of money.
Got it.
So
that's not good.
We transitioned to real estate,
right?
Where it's hardly any labor and more money. And depends on where you're at in the country, whether auctions are the best source or not. I got some good friends in Southern Kentucky, Tennessee line that do fantastically well. The market responds. They want to see an auction. If you're going to sell a piece of farmland or industrial or commercial dirt, they want to do an auction. That's what the public expects. Where in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, if you say auction, they think you're giving it away. They want to see low purchase prices, and the sellers want to be forced to do it by a judge.
So you're saying there's some parts of the country where instead of listing a property on a retail market, they will have an auction?
Absolutely.
Will it be a live auction?
It's becoming more and more online now.
Okay.
If you get out,
website?
It's all these private little companies.
Okay.
So, and they all use different hosting websites, but they're private little companies. Ford Brother Auctions in Southern Kentucky.
Is that a regular retail sale, or is that like a distressed situation?
No, there's a regular retail sale. So they'll take a farm, and if it's got enough road frontage and easily cut up, they'll take 100 acres and make it 30 tracts, or 10 tracts, or 5 tracts, or they'll sell it as one big farm. But that is a very normal way to sell a farm in that part of the world, and they do more sales like that than they do traditionally, listing for sale.
You guys do a lot of farmland?
We do a little bit, not as much as we'd like to, or we've done quite a few over the years, but more or less play farms. We don't have a lot of agriculture in our little part town, so it's your smaller farms, so 20, 30 acres, 100 acres, stuff like that. But we've done quite a few developments where we've chunked those up with road frontage and done, you turn 100 acres into 10-acre lots, 10 acre lots. Yeah.
So I actually have a deal like this right now in Texas where the guy can't pay his taxes, but he would be interested in splitting off maybe 2 or 3 acres of his lot so he could stay where he's at and maybe sell a piece to me.
Absolutely.
But I've never done that before. So I know you don't live in Texas, but how long does that take to split something off like that?
A couple months to get all the, so you got to talk to planning and zoning, see what they will allow and won't allow, and then survey. Survey's your longest portion.
Got it.
Figure out how to best divide that for the most potential money. So it's as simple as someone needs to come up with, pick a number, $1 million for a big track, or you divide it by 10, they need 100,000 a piece. Typically it brings more in smaller tracks, so they'll bring 150 a piece, so it makes more.
Got it.
You got your incentive, right?
Yep.
But it's a matter of typically finding somebody who's got the experience and partnering with them on that. So
got it.
That's what I would, not knowing Texas, that's what I would do.
Well, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it.
I know, but
Back to you. Where do you get your actual leads on the agent side versus the flip side?
So that's part of the, I guess, the traditional real estate side, the agent side, it's referrals mostly. It's word of mouth. It's people that I know and talking to people.
You've been around for generations.
I'm
right?
16 years myself, and my father's been doing it for 40. You say our name in the area, and people know what we do.
Yeah.
You don't. If you talk about real estate, you talk about Schneiders. That's just what we do. It's what we've been known for forever. It's all we've ever done. So that part makes it easy as far as the agent side goes. The deals come from talking to people and just sphere of influence more than anything. My dad always says he walks into Walmart with high expectations, and that's true. Like we plaster up our vehicles with our names on the back, whatever, and he's literally multiple times come out of the parking lot. People are waiting at his truck to ask him about a piece of real estate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just what we're known for doing. They know him. They weren't just doing it because they saw real estate. They know him.
Yeah.
So that's how we get our business that way.
Cool.
On the investor side, on the house flipping side, we've tried everything under the sun. I feel like we failed a lot. And we've learned a lot.
What do you mean you failed a lot?
So I got started, I guess it's been 5-6 years ago now. One of the lead gen companies we've used, they sent us a lead for traditional, top agent in your area kind of lead. And we called the lady up and said, hey, you want to sell your house? And she said, I don't want a daggone realtor. I want somebody to buy this thing. I just want to be done with it. Switch hats. We'll buy your place.
Literally, you're into hats.
Literally.
Yeah.
So literally switch hats. And my dad calls me, hey, you want to go buy this house in Covington? And I'm like, whose money? How are we going to pay for it? And he goes, oh, so-and-so will finance it.
Right.
So we went down there, and it was one of those deals where the lady...
So she doesn't want a realtor?
No.
Why not?
She's had this house. She inherited the house. And then how did it work out? She wanted to keep her daughter in college, and this was like a Tuesday, and she needed to pay $5,000 to the college by Monday, otherwise they were going to kick her out.
Okay.
So I've got a very short window of time. She needs $5,000. So we walk down there, and we're looking at the house. Numbers kind of work. We walk outside, call our money guy. He's like, yeah, we'll do it. I'll finance it. So we walk out in. I think we made her a deal at $60,000, $5,000 earnest money, and knowing that she was going to spend it immediately.
Yeah.
So we called some friends of ours, done a few flips, and whatever. Like, don't do that. She's spending the money. If you have title problems or whatever, you're just out $5,000 for nothing.
Right.
So we make some more calls, get a title search done, 24 hours, come back, clean title, write the check. 2 weeks later, we owed it. We don't have any crews. We're not.
So you gave the earnest money. You gave the earnest money to her, so
Correct.
she could use that.
She used the earnest money.
You give the earnest money to the title company, though, right?
But she needed $5,000 to pay the college bill.
So the title
3 days
company
after
was
I gave
like,
it to her.
cool. There was a record and all that.
Yeah, we just kept track of it, and we gave the earnest money directly to her. She spent it immediately. Wouldn't recommend it.
But it was a nice thing you did to solve her problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it immediately solved the problem, kept her daughter in college, and allowed us to have the house at a discount. So we closed on it a couple weeks after that, and then we went, now what? And we didn't really know. We didn't have any crews. We just kind of went for it. So we got this house. It's getting ready to be wintertime. It's about this time of year. It's cold front coming in. All right, so we hired a guy to put new black pipe into the furnace, get the furnace running. We got heaters in every level of this 3-story house, trying to keep it from freezing out. And a month or two goes by, and we're like, all right, we just got to get rid of this thing. I don't know what to do with it. We can't find anybody to work on it, whatever. Listed for sale. Boom, got it sold first day. Like $30K profit margin.
As is.
$30K profit margin, as is.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
We get all the way to the day of the closing.
Was this your first deal? Your first investor deal?
My first investor deal.
Yeah.
All the way to the closing table on that deal. And the lady's lender, using a hard money lender, which I didn't know anything about at the time, bails on her, cancels the deal.
Why?
No idea.
Yeah, that just happens sometimes with lenders, right?
They decided they were done with her. They didn't want to lend to her. Day of the closing, they canceled on her.
That's why the cash offer is so valuable to somebody in distress.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, what I thought was a $30K deal fell apart. We got to hold it for another month or two. We get it sold. We make like $27,000 or $28,000. Like, it did well.
Yeah.
It did very well. I looked at my dad, like, hey, we should.
Considering you didn't do anything
we
to it,
we
really,
had like $2
right?
grand in it.
Yeah.
Plus,
Cleaned it up a little bit,
holding,
took some photos.
We didn't even, took some photos. We didn't even clean it up. So I looked at my dad, I was like, we need to do this. We took a $60,000 house, made $27,000. We should do this again.
Because as an agent, you just make 3%, which would be like
Correct.
$2,500.
Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So to Google I go. I'm like, how to find motivated sellers. And I'm just scrolling through the pages of Google like somebody's got to be able to know this answer, right?
Yeah.
So need to sell my house fast pops up. I'm like, all right, here we go. Spend $3 grand with them. We get 3 or 4 listings out of it. Don't buy a house. Let's try it again. We made enough to cover our money. We did that for a few months. Google around again. Hire the next company. They're doing PPC ads. And hire the next company. They're doing Facebook ads. Hire the next company. And I'm going from the all-in solution every time of we're going to find a deal or find the leads. We're going to make them, they're great leads, to CRM system. You make the deal. And I just churned through CRM system after CRM system after CRM, in-house. And just, we bought some houses.
Why weren't the CRMs working for you?
Because we kept changing.
Why?
Because we dropped that marketing channel that wasn't working or it was costing more than it was making. And we hired this new company and they had their own CRM.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So we had to go from full service marketing company to full service marketing.
Yeah,
full service.
I got you.
So we kept changing CRM, so I couldn't get anything running long enough to produce anything from that. So it's mainly just me beating up the phone and my dad beating up the phone whenever we got, felt like it was a good time to do it. We were slow, so we called people, not because it was a system, but just because we were slow. So, which works in the traditional world, but in the investing world, if it's not consistent, it doesn't work. Didn't know that yet. So we beat up every marketing company we could find, and every time I call one of these marketing companies, I ask the same set of questions. I interviewed 50, 60 of them over the course of the first year or two. And I was always like, all right, who's your biggest and best customer? Who's out there really killing it for you? How many deals are they doing? And it was always like, oh man, I got so-and-so in Arkansas or Kansas City or wherever. And they're killing it. The guy's part-time, he's a school teacher, plus he does this, and he's doing 12 deals a year. I'm like, I want to do that a month. Like, what do I got to do to get to that? Like, how do I? They never had an answer for me over and over and over again. So we always got to where we felt like we were starting to make some traction, and either they fire us or we fire them, or, it's mostly a lot of us firing them. And we move on to the next one. And then we were spending decent money, $5,000 to $6,000 a month, but for a small operation with no staff and whatever, I felt like I was spending a lot. And we tried mailers with the company, spent $100,000 in 1 year and didn't buy a single house.
What? How could that be possible?
I know. Bad systems.
What do you think? You mean like a call
company
would come in, but you wouldn't answer it?
No, they were sending very generic mailers, and they provided their own list, and it was the same story over and over again of, well, it just takes time, 6 months, and you'll start really seeing some traction. And they had their own VAs calling those leads, following up with them, and then I'd get them after the VA talked with them, and it just weren't the right, it was a bad list. I've come to find out now. I didn't know it then, but it just wasn't the right people. And then, so the company I'd hired to do that got bought out a month or two in, and then new systems coming on the back end of their stuff. I just wasn't competent enough to follow up and make sure they're doing what they needed to be doing, and I just kept paying them and hoping it would show up.
Yeah.
And it never showed up.
Got it. So what do you do now?
So we joined January last year, a year ago now.
Collective Genius.
Collective Genius. Yeah, and that was from a Facebook ad. I saw it at like 11 o'clock at night, and I started working on their thing, and it took like 4 or 5 hours to fill out all their stuff, and I quit and restarted.
Wow, it took that long.
Oh, it was just long form answer after long form answer, and they've since changed it. I'm told it's way shorter now. But it was a really long process to fill out all the information and get it submitted. So I finally finished submitting at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then Jesse Bibby called me at 11 o'clock the next day, maybe 10:30.
Nice.
I'm like, who are you guys?
That was fast. Yeah.
Who are you? What do you mean you read all that already? I wasn't expecting to get a response for a week. Like, come on. So talked to them, took 2 or 3 months. We finally joined right after the January meeting last year. And then dove in again and hired every company in CG, every vendor. We tried them all. Spent a bunch of money, dug myself into a hole. I was about 140.
That's kind of classic beginner thing.
Yeah.
It's like you throw everything at the wall.
Everything's really exciting.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, you guys look awesome. Like, stroke a check.
Yeah.
So are you. Everybody gets a check, which feels good. You feel like you're really doing something. But it wasn't following up or really
you're
working.
spread too thin then, right?
100%.
You're spread too thin
100%.
to figure out what's
I tried
actually
all.
getting enough attention to be successful.
Well, not only that, I was doing fix and flips, And I walked into CG and everybody's like, wholesaling's magic. Oh no, don't do long-term rentals magic. Oh no, you need to do
it's so
oh, you need to do all of them.
so sexy to go do this other thing.
Oh, you need to do high-end rentals. You need to do Airbnbs. You need to do. So we tried all of them and just dug a hole. So I, middle of the year, June, July or so, I was probably June or so. It's probably about 140,000 underwater.
Oh, wow. Holy cow. Just from all the checks you stroked in CG?
Yeah, well, not just CG, but before that, leading up into it, and then some bad buys and whatever.
140 underwater.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, we dug in deep. So, bad.
Have you gotten out of it?
We are probably 1 or 2 closings now. We'll be back on making money.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're pretty well dug out.
That's amazing feeling.
So, it is so good. So, the way I figured out to do it was to cancel everything.
Okay.
Just clean sweep. No more paper lead, no more PPC, no more Facebook ads, cancel it all.
Okay.
And through some guidance from some CG and whatever, focus on people that know me and know me well, realtors. So we went back to cold calling realtors, telling them what we're looking for, what we're doing, how we can help them, how we can take a deal that you don't know what to do with and you don't even want, show you how to make $1 with it by selling it to me. You never look at it. I walk in, I buy the house. I deal directly with the seller, and I send you a check for let me do it. That's helped tremendously. We still got a couple lead services that only pay when you close. We buy some from them, and then wholesalers, where I was. When you first get started, every wholesaler pops out of the woodwork to come find you, right?
Right.
And all their deals suck.
Oh yeah.
They don't have any. There's no
Sometimes
there's
they're
no
not
margin.
even their deals.
Right.
Sometimes they'll be a basic chain deal that they heard somebody else has, and they don't have anything to do with it.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's no margin left by the time it ever gets to you.
Right.
So they're looking for that brand new investor that doesn't know what they're doing, whatever. And I was trying to buy a $20,000 margin and never could find it in any of their deals. Through another group I joined, Paul Sparks with Whale Club, and talking to him, whatever, he's like, you're doing too much. Let's narrow it all in. So between CG and Whale Club, it's been a great mix of scale, do everything for everybody to bring it way down here and be really profitable.
Right.
Do way less deals for more money. And so I've kind of jammed all that mindset together and ended up where I'm at. So found some wholesalers that do good deals, and they're bigger wholesalers. Not buying a lot from them, but the deals are good. And so we're doing less deals now. We're making more money, bigger margins, and we don't have we're super slim in our monthly output.
Lean.
We're very, very lean. And that's been the key to my success for the last 6 months.
Yeah, so
get lean and make more money.
Everybody goes a mile wide and an inch deep.
Right.
And if everybody's doing it, that means it's not very valuable.
Correct.
But if you really go deep on one thing, nobody's willing to put in the hours and the focus that it takes to really understand that one thing. But that's where more money is made.
Absolutely.
And that sounds like what you did.
Absolutely. So I thought I was going to be a wholesaler. I thought I was going to be innovations. So we were going to do brewer method. I was going to hire a bunch of VAs. Scrapped all that. Well, we do fix and flip. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Traditional real estate. If it doesn't work in fix and flip, I'll list it and sell it traditionally. That's
Love it. Yeah, and it's simple. The business is in place to serve you.
Correct.
If you're doing so many things, you'll have so many things breaking all the time. So many things that need your attention because you haven't been able to really iron out the process and everything, right? So if the business serves you, it could run without you is the idea.
Absolutely.
So what's the big goal with it for you?
So for me, in that very same line is to build a lifestyle I want with a business that supports it instead of the business I want and have to change my lifestyle to support it. So I'm trying to build the lifestyle and then figure out what business it takes to do that. So that lifestyle is...
Yeah, what are the details?
The details are going to be somewhere in the tune of 1.3 to 1.5 gross, netting around a very conservative 300,000 to where that is my bread and butter. How little risk, how little effort, how little time can I put in throughout the year to get to that 300K base?
What are you going to do with your time?
So from there, whatever I want. That's the best part, right? I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to run around with the family. I want to be able to buy the toys and I've got a 40-acre farm now, but I want that to be a lot bigger.
Oh wow,
right?
That's nice.
I want that to be, and that was part of the jump off and go after it without a lot of plan. But we started on the big barn now, and then we're going to build the big house and all that on the farm. But I want the farm to be bigger, right? So the master plan is I got to have time and energy to work on those big deals to bring in the big chunks that allows me to pick off the neighbor farms or buy new farms or build big houses. But I need the consistency throughout the year to pay all the bills and let me live the lifestyle I want at the same time.
Right.
So it's to build this consistent income to allow me to go after big deals. That's the lifestyle I want, to where my energy, my time, and my efforts are free. This is easy. Those are fun. If they don't come together, no big deal. But if they do, they're awesome. And that's what I'm after.
That's great. How long do you think it might take to get there?
If I go at the pace I'm going now, pretty quick, right? I'm
maybe the end of this
hoping
year.
I can hit in 2025 the consistency and figure out the rhythm to. You can't see consistency in 1 year, right? But I can set the bedrock to build off of for the consistency this year, and then going into 26, the goal is to get my business bankable. So I go into 27 with all kind of options available.
Yeah.
Big deals, small deals, multiple deals, whatever I'm looking for.
Man, you said you don't want your lifestyle to have to change to serve your business, and I'm thinking about the $140,000 loss, when you were in that hole.
Right.
Did that affect your lifestyle? I'm sure
Absolutely,
it did.
yeah. You don't have any money, right? I spent January, February, March, April of last year borrowing money from the company to pay my personal bills so I could get back, so I could go to work every day. That sucks. So how do I go from that to having a surplus of money? Well, I got to get my mind free to where I can focus on deals to make the most money. Those wholesalers I'm buying from now were there last year. I just didn't have enough freedom in my head and my mind and my energy to focus on them to see if the deals were any good. I was so worried about chasing the seller. The lead came in, it cost me $300, $400, whatever, and chasing that and make sure I got my money's worth of that I couldn't even look at the free deal standing in front of me that I had to pay for.
Yeah.
So that's the change of, that's the lifestyle and the freedom that allows me to focus where I want to focus instead of what I have to focus on because it's costing me money.
How did your family react? Seeing that you kind of tried something new, right? And they're within something that's existed for a long time.
Yeah. So they're pretty. Obviously, I started the business with my father, right?
Yep.
He was an agent long before I was born. So when I got into the business when I was 18, 19 years old, I was his assistant. I was licensed, but I was his assistant. I was helping. I was doing all his transaction coordination and all his busy work, so he could go out and sell more. Hated it. He paid me well. Hated it. Just couldn't stand it, him being my boss and my dad. Not only that, I lived at home. He had a home office. My mom had a home office. She did mortgages at the time. And I had a home office. And I was also in school, at college.
Yeah.
So I come in from school, and I had to live with my mom and dad, work with my mom and dad, and be in the same house, the same office as them. It was miserable. Couldn't handle it. So I got moved out, all that. Transitioned into being a solo agent. And then I brought in a buddy of mine, and we became a team. Then we left Remax, where we were then, and went with a small brokerage where we could have our own office, all our own people and everything like that. Grew it to 6 or 8, 7 people underneath us. So now we got a full-fledged team, and we got people doing listing coordination and transaction coordination, stuff like that. So he's been all about it. And I talked him into joining the auction marketing group, and we did that. He sported the bill and been all about it for a long time. And so when CG came up, we found out the price tag for that. He's like,
right after you've had a lot
of He's like, let's try it. Let's go. If you want to do it, let's do it. So we struck a check and went after it. And not because we had a lot of money, but because it seemed like the right way to go. And it's been probably the best thing we've ever done.
It's so important to learn from somebody who's achieved what you're trying to achieve.
He's still not, he's still trying with me. I guess is a better way to say it. But he's definitely further along as far as a traditional agent than I am, or even more than I.
You focus more on the.
Correct. I stopped working with buyers. I started chasing these investment deals, and I put my focus there. And we've had our ups and downs, and I fired him, he's fired me over 48 times over the years.
Yeah.
So depending on the day, who's in charge and who's the boss, but. For the most part, they've been extremely supportive of let's just go for it. And, my wife, and I got young kids, 1.5, 3.5, so they don't really know what's going on. But the wife's like, you just tell me what you're doing, whatever. So she goes with it. She supports me.
What's the one thing that you'd like to walk away from at CG this time?
CG this time, it's really, I found out early on that the relationships were the most important thing. You can take a course from anybody. You can learn a quick tip from anybody, right? But being able to see a problem come up in your business and knowing who to call and that they're going to drop what they're doing and help you, it's been extremely valuable. So I came to my first CG meeting in May last year. And I had, like I said, I joined in January, right after the January meeting. So I met a bunch of people through Zoom calls, and that's great. You can kind of get to know somebody in Zoom, right? In May, though, here we are.
Yeah.
Now we're staying up too late. We're having a bunch of conversations about life, and stuff gets real, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you build those relationships. So by the time I left CG, I'm on with Colton Fast. I'm on his daily Zoom calls.
Awesome.
With his company every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Every single day. And I'm helping him with his problems.
He's just another member. He's just letting you,
correct. He's just another guy. And he says, you know what, you need to see how my business runs. And I thought I was going to get into wholesaling, which was happily decided I didn't go that direction. But he ran a great wholesaling operation, and I'm following him, right? And same thing with a couple other guys. Like, I just call them up and I can be there. You got a commercial bill calls up. John Heisler, hey man, I need help with this. Help me evaluate this. He said, yeah, let me jump on Zoom with me. Let's do it. That is extremely valuable. So, not that I've been to a lot of CG meetings yet, but that's what I come with. That's what I came here with right now. It's not any. I don't have a set problem this time that I think I'm really after. More so, I'm after a relationship. Who else can I meet? How much deeper can I get with the relationships we've already built? It got put to me a long time ago at one of the auction group meetings I was with. A theory called compressed friendship theory. The guy called it.
What is this?
Okay, so your best friend in life, how often do you see him?
Every day.
Every single day?
Yeah.
Okay, so your second best friend. So typically
Maybe once a week.
Somebody takes their best friend, they see him once a week, once a month, whatever. They hang out with them. How often do you hang out with them? You hang out once a week, 2-3 hours, right? So over the course of a 50-week year, you see this guy for 40, 50 hours, right? That's your best 40, 50 hours of the year you're hanging out with that person. You come to these events, we're here for 2.5 days. You're with the same people for 48, 72 hours, right? So I'm in a room with John Heisler, right, the next 2-3 days. I'm going to be with him every single minute of the day for 72 hours. That's a lot of time to build a relationship.
Basically like your best friend.
You get to take the amount of time you get with your best friend and compress it into 3 days. So it's a compressed friendship theory. So you can build these relationships so much faster because you're spending all day with them for a very compressed period of time.
Yeah.
You do that 3 times a year, you've seen that person 3 times as much as you see your best friend. You can build some relationships really fast. So that's how I come into these meetings is, all right, who's going to be this new person who walks in my life that gets to spend 72 hours with me? Who can I build a year-long relationship with in 3 days? That's what I'm after.
That makes sense.
Who else? Who's going to be the next business partner? Who's going to be the next person that I can call when life, hits the fan?
Right.
Who can I talk to when I really need help?
Yeah.
It's going to stop what they're doing and listen to me and truly help me.
Sounds like Colton Fast.
And vice versa. Yeah, absolutely.
And almost
absolutely.
anybody.
John Heisler, Colton Fast, all these
in
guys.
this group.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's pretty amazing how many people are willing to do that.
And that's what I'm after. I'm after the ability, not just one way, but same thing.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, they call me. Yeah, man, all right, let's work it out. Let's figure it out.
Right.
I got some ideas. Let's see what we can do. That kind of stuff.
Well, I appreciate you coming on this podcast because I know
Absolutely.
somebody listening may find it helpful, right? That maybe isn't in a group like this, but can hear your story. Some of the struggles, vulnerable things you shared is helpful for somebody to hear. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe listening to a lot of podcasts, but maybe they haven't done their first deal yet?
For the first deal,
Yeah.
find somebody who's done it before. Don't do it alone.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Don't do it alone. There's no reason to struggle on stuff that other people know how to do. There's plenty of people out there that are happy and willing to help you do your first deal.
Would you suggest like partnering with them, splitting
Absolutely.
the profit
Yeah.
with them for that one deal?
Any number of ways. It all depends on who the person is, right? Some people do it absolutely for free. They want to see you succeed. That's the other thing. Most people when they're in the first deal think everybody's out to beat them or out to one up them. There's people out there like that, absolutely. But the large majority of the people are there. They want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Focus on those people first off.
Yeah.
Rely on those people. Find a person that wants to see you succeed, and if they get a piece of the deal and that's what makes it make it work, great. They probably just want to see you succeed and want to help you. You might not have to.
Well, I think that's great advice. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing,
Absolutely,
man.
brother.
I appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
you did great on your first podcast. You're a natural.
I don't know. I'm just talking.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.